Hey everybody. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about social distancing and how you guys are faring with it so far. I was in the store the other day. I try not to go out too much, but I got to get out and get some air sometimes, right? And I got to move my car too. I just hate my car just sitting there. It's been sitting there for days. So I was like, let me get out and just go to the store. And so, I don't know wherever you live, if your store has changed the rules. So I'm going to this huge store and, they only let in a few people in at a time, which again, that's fine. It's okay. I got my mask on. I'm like, all right. They wiping down the carts. I love it. This is great. And so I'm shopping and this woman in this big ass aisle that I needed to go down. Okay. I needed to get something from that aisle. She proceeds to cough. No hand over, no, she didn't do it in the elbow. She did. And when I tell you she cleared that aisle out, I was like, oh, hell no. I guess whatever I needed, I wasn't going to get it at that store. Okay. People was up out of that aisle in a jiffy. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is the world we live in right now. We live in a world where you will get punched for coughing. Matter of fact, in the city of Chicago, okay, I live outside of the city of Chicago. This nurse got punched on a CTA bus for coughing, y'all. Now, she was masked up. She had on a mask and everything like that. This man punched her for coughing. All right. People are tense. They are afraid. And, this is, like I said, this is the world we're living in right now. And, the city officials, the state officials, they're trying to do everything that they can, or they feel that they're trying to do everything that they can to keep people apart and to keep people safe. And I just don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of memes going around from, Lori Lightfoot. She is the mayor of Chicago, and she always on TV like stay home and keep apart. And people make memes of her because you always kind of like think that she's lurking if she sees you. And the truth of the matter is, when it got warm not too long ago, people started congregating. Now, again, the scientists, the doctors have said, they realize that there is a higher rate of transmission when there are big gatherings. And what do people do? They gather. They've had to break up parties. They had to break up all kinds of shit. They need to get like these folks got down. This is in the DR. These folks down here ain't playing about that shit. They see you gathering, and you see it was only a few of these women. They see you gathering, they breaking the shit up. They breaking up the party. And, it's a double-edged sword with us and our folk, right? Because here in the city of Chicago, if you got large groups of people gathering, you see kids out there on the basketball court. They've tried to close the parks. They shut the shit down. They try to take the hoops down. They try to take down the rims and all this other stuff. You have people still trying to gather. And it, like I said, it's a double-edged sword because you really don't want to call the officials, call the authorities on a group of young black men in a situation like this, because we understand that it can escalate, right? It could turn into something else. They want to disperse the crowd. They want to break up the crowd. But we also know how the police are with our young folk, our young black people. So it's a double-edged sword. You can't really win in that situation, right? But you don't want them to gather. You don't want them to gather like this group did. I saw this on Facebook yesterday. Somebody had posted a live. This was down in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, Louisiana's numbers have just exploded. And we also know that as far as COVID-19 is concerned, Black people are dying at an alarming rate. Right. And there's a few reasons for that. Right. It's the systemic racism that's not having access to care, is not being tested, not being believed. When we say we're sick, they don't believe us. We're not, all that stuff plays into that. We already have like the heart disease, the diabetes, the asthma and stuff like that. So but then when you see stuff like this, it's like, come on, y'all. Y'all know we are a double whammy in this situation. And here y'all are gathering. Like, what don't you understand about staying apart and the fact that this shit can get transmitted quickly and it could wipe out half of those people in this group. I would say half of those people in this group right now are destined to have it if they ain't got it already. And then the fact, when you topple that and you couple that with the fact that we are, more susceptible to death because of our other underlying conditions, it's like comorbidity. Okay. So I hate ignorance like this. The fact that people aren't taking it seriously. They're just not. I mean, we've seen some of the churches. There's some churches that are defying the law and saying, hey, we are going to gather on Easter Sunday. We're going to get together. And I'm just thinking to myself, why would a leader of a church, why would a pastor who's supposed to show wisdom in this situation, in these kind of situations, put their flock in danger like that? We have heard it too many times. There have been so many instances of congregations all getting sick because they decided to ignore the stay-at-home orders and gather. And this is what we have here. We have people getting infected. We have a lot of people getting infected. So it's like, in this moment, listen, those are when I see pastors deciding that they're going to defy the rules and gather up all these people, I say to myself, those are the type of people that's, first of all, putting the collection plate first. And also the mindset for them is the church is the building. Church is not the building. You can go to church online. You can stream your church service. Okay. You don't have to go into a building and go and get infected. And I'm just thinking to myself, y'all want to go to church? Y'all, that's fine. Let's let them all go and gather up in the church and then lock the goddamn doors and padlock them in and let them infect each other. Because the truth of the matter is, if somebody up in that church, they're shaking hands, you know how church is, y'all hugging, you fellowshipping, you holding, touch your neighbor, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, all the droplets, all the COVID, all that shit is in somebody else's face. And then you take that shit and you go back to your families, or you go back to wherever you work. If you're an essential worker, you go back and you take that shit to other people. And that's how people are dying. All right. They're dying. Now, I posted this picture a few days ago on my community tab of how people are covering up their faces. All right. I myself, I got one of those little masks that you get like at the dollar store, like if you painting or something like that. And I know it probably don't really help. And I also got a bandana that I put around my mouth. I had to tell my son, I was like, you can't do that. It's like, again, this is just another instance, like black folks can't win for losing. You see the man up at the top with the damn gym shoe over his. Now, I don't know if that's keeping anything out, but I do find it creative. I think probably the most creative one is, I would probably be that damn horse, that unicorn at the bottom. I would be the unicorn. Okay. I ain't letting nothing get up in here. But black folks can't even wear the bandana. And they saying that the cloth masks are the best because that other shit, it goes right through it. But the cloth masks are the best. But black folks can't be out here wearing no damn bandanas around their face. All right. We can't do that. That's why I said social distancing is unfortunate, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And I hate that this is how we have to live, but this is what we got to do. This is what we have to do. It's gotten so bad and the world has changed so much in the last few weeks, is that even if people don't want to take this serious, hear this. As you know, people are dying from this shit. Dying. And when people get this COVID-19, you aren't allowed to go in there and be with your family at the hospital. They got to call you and tell you how they're doing. You can't be there. If you don't want to take it serious, take that serious. Take the fact that you can't even be with your family when they need you. They're in there suffering by themselves, that you can't even be there because of the rate of transmission, the fact that you can get infected. And also, they don't have enough of that PPE to go around to protect you, right? So, and that's a shame. Even the way funerals are being, you see in the city of New York, how people are just dying. They could be having like 800 deaths a day. And those people, they are like putting people in mass graves, some of these people. People are dying so quickly, they don't even have places to put all of these people. So funerals even have to be conducted differently. A close friend of mine, her sister passed away a couple of weeks ago. And because I don't know how it is in your state, but here in the state of Illinois, you are only allowed to have immediate family at the funeral. And this woman that died, she was well known where we live. She was well known. So in any other instance, that church would have been packed out. I mean, it would have been people like out the door trying to be there. Now, also note that this person that passed away, she had over 10 brothers and sisters, and her mother and father was still alive. So they made an allowance for the brothers and the sisters and the mama and the daddy and this woman's son to be at the funeral, but they wouldn't allow anybody else to be there. Now just think about that. The nieces and the nephews couldn't even be there. They only allowed her brothers and her sisters, her mother and her father, and her son to be in attendance at her funeral. And that broke a lot of people's heart. They said you have to stream it. You have to stream funerals now. Now, this is how different things are. So I just, if we ever want to get back to normalcy, so any kind of normalcy, I guess we just gonna have to kind of comply. And the crazy part about all of this social distancing and standing 6 feet apart, which I still don't even trust that shit, right? I don't even want to stand 6 feet apart from you. I'm like way on the other side. Like I'm not even standing 6 feet from somebody. I'm going to give you 12 feet just to be sure. But what's crazy about all of this is that because the whole country did not go on a stay-at-home order or a lockdown at the same time, it's going to be real interesting when we start kind of getting back to being able to get back outside and do stuff. Now, my child, she's an athlete, and she's already, of course, like really disappointed that her summer track season is probably a wrap. I don't even see how they could bring all those kids back, because that you asking for a lawsuit. If these kids go back to playing AAU basketball, track, even with the sports, the professional sports, you asking for lawsuits. If anybody mess around and get infected, you asking for a lawsuit if they come back too soon, because everybody is going to be really nervous. And then you have these big ass crowds of people. Are we going to walk around with masks for the rest of the summer? Is that going to be our normal wear? Are we just going to, have to use it, bling it up to make it fashionable? Because that's how I feel like we're going to be. And so she was disappointed. I'm like, well, this is the world we live in right now, unfortunately. I doubt that these kids will even go back to school and finish out their school year. And I feel especially bad for those kids that are graduating this year. Like no prom, no graduation. I'm hoping that for those children that they'll be able to at least maybe push their prom and their graduation off into the summer, something. The class of 2020, I hate that this is happening to them. I certainly hope that they can salvage it by like at least pushing it down, because it's just so much, guys. It's such a ripple effect for so many people and how many things are being affected. But like I said, I definitely worry about those people that are out of work. That little $1,200 stimulus check ain't about to do shit. They're going to have to like do at least 3 or 4 of those. And I know that they're not going to do that, but they're going to need to do that, because I just don't feel like the way people are like kind of ignoring the whole social distancing things, and the fact that people that's in those states that really don't have orders probably aren't staying at home. They come to your state, and now when you didn't finally got things together, now y'all done blew up again because somebody done brought the Rona back to y'all, right? And then they talking about a vaccine isn't even not even close to being like done. And who wants to take a vaccine that you don't know shit about? We already kind of antsy about the vaccines anyway. So this is a mess. And like I said, I hope that you guys are okay during this social distancing. I've just been finding myself being, when I'm not doing my little jobby job, which I'm still trying to navigate how to work from home. And I'm certainly not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. I'm learning how to have a rhythm. I really do understand when people say if you work from home, you have to have some discipline in that, because that's my issue, which is why I haven't been able to make as many videos as I wanted to, because I'm just learning a rhythm to it. I'm an instructor, so I'm in front of a class on Zoom, and I'm trying to figure that out, and come over here and try to watch Netflix. It just doesn't work. So I'm trying to have some discipline here, and so as soon as I find a rhythm, I certainly want to make more videos. But like I said, I would in no way complain about that. No way complain, because I'm so grateful to be able to just say that I'm still able to work. But yeah, it's been crazy. I've just, like I said, I've been enjoying the little IG DJ D Nice. I've been, enjoying all of that, and trying to find some normalcy in this. And I go outside and I try to take a walk every now and then. But like I said, we just lived in a different time. I don't think that it'll ever be the way it was, because I don't know how much I could trust it. Hell, I got to go out to the store to get some food, because I'm still going to make my Easter dinner. And I'm just like, do I even really want to go? Who done touched this? I'm just like really, really leery of going out in the stores with folks. And I promise you, what I told you, when that woman coughed and cleared out the damn aisle, I'm like, you know what? We living in a whole different era. Who would have thought? But listen, I'm not trying to get the Rona. I know you ain't trying to get the Rona. We just got to be as mindful and careful as we possibly can. Like I said, all these social gatherings, I've been on, like, how about 3 Zoom parties with my friends. I've been on Google Hangouts. We've had birthday parties like that. This is just our new normal for now. Hopefully, if people will listen and act right, we can get back to some normalcy, and we won't have to do this all summer. But as long as people not going to act right, and they won't follow the orders, and they won't do all, and I'm not talking about the people that have to go out. I'm talking about if you just going out to party, you going out and you gathering, you having barbecues and shit like that. That's what I'm talking about. Because there's some people that just got to go out. And they're not saying don't ever go outside. They're saying don't get with big ass groups. That's what they're trying to tell you. Okay? Don't ruin that so our asses can have a little bit of a summer. Because I feel like I'm on punishment. Every time somebody screw up, I feel like we just get on punishment even longer. And I'm tired of being in this. I really want to get out this summer, y'all. So anyway, that's just me talking. Let me know how you guys are dealing with this social distancing and what you have experienced since all of this has